Hello viewers, I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. The Raisina Dialogue, held annually in New Delhi, enhances India's diplomatic ties through global discussions on geopolitics, security and economics. The 10th edition brought together prominent world leaders to address global security, economic challenges and India's strategic role.
New Delhi welcomed delegates from 125 nations for the 10th Raisina Dialogue, a dynamic forum inaugurated by Indian PM Narendra Modi and New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon. Centered on the theme Kal Chakra, People, Peace and Planet, the 2025 edition ignited vital conversations on trade, climate action and security, reaffirming India's pivotal role in shaping the global narrative.
The world order is clearly undergoing a great churn. This requires leadership, the kind that we have in the room today. It requires systems to think differently, not simply falling back on old assumptions to deal with new situations. And it requires honest conversations, fresh ideas, and creative solutions. The value proposition that Raisina offers in that regard is higher than ever. So I know I speak for all of you in saying, let the dialogue begin.
The Raisina Dialogue brought together global leaders to discuss 6 key themes: political shifts, environmental challenges, digital governance, trade, development and peace. These discussions address 21st century challenges, fostering innovation and global cooperation. Leaders widely praised India's growing influence and key role in international diplomacy.
I mean, India is a crucial economy for the world economy, and it's one of the fastest growing countries in the world, so it plays a crucial role in economic terms. But of course, India also plays a crucial role in political terms, helping bring a crucial country in the Indo-Pacific, but also building bridges between North and South, between East and West, and we have seen this capacity of India during its G20 presidency.
US Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, speaking at the Raisina Dialogue, emphasized peace and stability for Indo-Pacific security. Earlier, she met Prime Minister Modi to discuss India-US ties, global security and shared strategic interests.
It's a vast and critical region that's not just a geographic space. It is the geopolitical center of gravity for the 21st century. So ensuring peace and stability here is essential to our collective security, our objective of economic prosperity, and our ability to work together to take on the great challenges of our time. And we must tackle these challenges together.
New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon highlighted the growing Delhi-Wellington ties. He and PM Modi reaffirmed their commitment to shared democratic values and stronger people-to-people connections. They discussed regional and global issues, agreeing to enhance multilateral cooperation. New Zealand supported India's entry into the combined maritime forces, while both leaders welcomed progress in defense ties. They emphasized regular officer training exchanges and pledged to expand capacity building efforts.
Our two-way trade today stands at around 3 billion New Zealand dollars a year, but there is huge potential to grow, and it is in that context that I want to say thank you, and I'm pleased to welcome the efforts of Minister Goyal and Minister Macleay on their agreement announced yesterday between New Zealand and India that we will launch immediately comprehensive free trade agreement negotiation.
दोनों देशों के बीच एक परस्पर लाभकारी फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट पर नेगोशिएशंस शुरू करने का निर्णय लिया गया है। इससे आपसी व्यापार और निवेश के पोटेंशियल को बढ़ावा मिलेगा।
As New Zealand and India strengthen ties, tourism and business growth drive mutual prosperity. A key step is the Air New Zealand Air India MOU signed in Mumbai.
Air India and Air New Zealand have signed this MOU to develop tourism and business links between India and New Zealand. It's starting off with a code share where we will put each other's airline code on each other's flights so we can increase visibility and get more people to travel between the two countries. In the long term, we want to work on a non-stop service between India and New Zealand. So this is a precursor that will allow us to grow the market and hopefully be able to launch that new flight in future.
The 10th Raisina Dialogue underscored India's expanding global leadership and deepening ties with New Zealand. With strengthened trade, defense and aviation partnerships, both nations are set to enhance economic cooperation and connectivity, fostering long-term growth and stability in the Indo-Pacific region.
In Geneva, the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement organized a protest in front of the United Nations Human Rights Council to raise global awareness about the grave human rights violations faced by Pashtun in Pakistan. Protesters denounced the unlawful killings of activists and religious leaders and highlighted the ongoing atrocities committed by Pakistani military, such as extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. A report.
The Pashtun community in Pakistan has long faced significant challenges, with their voices, struggles and grievances frequently marginalized with the broader political and social landscape of the country. This marginalization has been compounded by human rights violations such as arbitrary detentions, forced disappearances, extrajudicial killings and the targeting of Pashtun activists, which have become widespread in recent years. Recently, the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement in Switzerland organized a large protest in front of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, bringing global attention to the grave human rights violations and escalating crisis faced by Pashtuns in Pakistan. Participants in the protest vehemently denounced the unlawful crackdown on PTM activists and the arbitrary detention of prominent figures. They also drew attention to the deteriorating security situation in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, where Pashtun communities continue to face oppression and violence.
We hope that you will consider our issues in our mistake.
All the Pashtuns, Balochs and Sindhis gathered here to inform the world about the worst crisis that is developing in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Balochistan also. There are gross human rights violations committed by the Pakistani army. Now there is astronomical increase in the extrajudicial killings of notables, religious and nationalist leaders, especially recently a very renowned religious leader and Pashtun nationalist Mufti Munir Shakir was killed by the proxies of the state of Pakistan, and we hold the Pakistani Army Chief General Asim Munir responsible for his extrajudicial killing, and for all this chaos and insecurity in the region, the Pakistani state is responsible for all this.
The protest highlighted the alarming rise in extrajudicial killings, drone attacks and forced disappearances and torture carried out by Pakistani army against Pashtun populations. Demonstrators condemned these atrocities and called for international intervention and accountability, urging the Pakistani government to respect the fundamental rights of Pashtuns and ensure justice and security for their communities.
आज इधर हम आया था जिनवा में स्विस में साज़मान मिलल का यूएन के सामने हमारे इधर एक प्रोटेस्ट है। तो परसों उन्होंने हमारे एक मौलवी था मुफ्ती शाकिर साहब, पाकिस्तानी मिलिट्री ने उसको कत्ल किया, शहीद किया। और भी हमारा नसीर साहब है और अली वज़ीरी है और हमारा बहुत पीटीएम का लोग जो है पाकिस्तान मिलिट्री ने उन्होंने जेल में डाला है। और उधर हमारा सिचुएशन बहुत ख़राब है, पाकिस्तानी फौज जो हमेशा उधर टारगेट कर रहे हैं और हमारा लोग मार रहे हैं, हमारा लोग उठाता है, वो जेलों में डाल रहे हैं। तो पाकिस्तान में हमारा हालात इस टाइम में बहुत ख़राब है। हम दुनिया से यही रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि प्लीज़ हमारे लिए अपना आवाज़ उठा लो, हमारे हक़ के लिए थोड़ा आवाज़ उठा लो। और इधर भी हम आया था, हमारे सारी दुनिया से यही रिक्वेस्ट है कि पश्तून इस टाइम में पाकिस्तान में बहुत ख़तरनाक हालात में है। हमारा उधर बहुत हमारे साथ बहुत ज़्यादती हो रहे हैं। वो पाकिस्तानी मिलिट्री जो है वो हमें मार रहे हैं। दिन पर दिन में हमारा 100-200 लोग हमारे वो जो है पाकिस्तानी मिलिट्री को कत्ल कर रहे हैं, मार रहे हैं।
The protesters emphasized that the Pakistani army is directly involved in the operation of the Pashtun people and their movement because they are demanding basic rights, freedom and justice.
पश्तून तहफ़्फ़ुज़ मूवमेंट स्विट्ज़रलैंड की जानिब से ये मुज़ाहरा हो रहा है। ये मुज़ाहरा पाकिस्तान में पश्तून तहफ़्फ़ुज़ मूवमेंट के जो रहनुमा है अली वज़ीर, मलक नसीर कोकी खेल, समद अजी और इसके साथ जो कल या परसों मौलवी मुफ्ती मुनीर शाकिर साहब के कत्ल के ख़िलाफ़ ये मुज़ाहरा हो रहा है। हमें पता है कि पंजाब इस्तिमारी रियासत या पाकिस्तानी फ़ौज इन तमाम मुजालिम के पीछे है। हमारे साथ जो जुल्म हो रहा है या पीटीएम के साथ जो जुल्म हो रहा है, पीटीएम के ख़िलाफ़ जो ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है वो डायरेक्टली पाकिस्तानी फ़ौज कर रही है। ये इस वजह से कर रही है कि हम अपने हकूक़ की बात करते हैं, हम पंजाब से आज़ादी की बात करते हैं, हम अपने वसाइल पे अपना इख्तियार मांगते हैं।
The protest in Geneva was a call for international attention to the escalating violence and human rights abuses in Pakistan, urging the global community to stand in solidarity with the oppressed ethnic groups and demand accountability from the Pakistani government and military.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
The United States launched airstrikes on targets in the Yemeni capital Sana'a on March 19, marking the latest in a series of retaliatory actions against attacks by the Iran-aligned group targeting shipping in the Red Sea. 3 local residents reported to the media that the strikes had struck the Al Jaraf district located near Sana'a's airport. The Japan Culinary Art Award was recently held in Kyoto to honor the world's top chefs in Japanese cuisine. The event was organized by the Japanese Culinary Academy and supported by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries as well as Kyoto City. A total of 13 chefs, including 3 international winners from the world preliminary contest, showcased their culinary skills.
日本の食文化は素晴らしいなとか、日本の農産物、海産物本当に美味しいなというふうに皆さんに思っていただく、そういったきっかけになることを目指してまして、海外の日本食を作っていらっしゃる料理人の方たちにこうした機会に腕を振るっていただいて、皆さんの地元の方たちに見ていただくことで魅力を伝えられることができるんじゃないかなと考えているところです。
The chefs were given a time limit of 4 hours to prepare their dishes. They created traditional lunch boxes that showcased the essence of Japanese cuisine. 5 Japanese chefs were recognized for their exceptional skills. Meanwhile, foreign disciples of Japanese culinary art explored a diverse range of Japanese ingredients, inspiring them to craft even more exquisite and authentic Japanese cuisine. Villagers from Indian ancestral village of NASA astronaut Sunita Williams on March 19 celebrated her safe return to Earth with dance and firecrackers. Sunita Williams returned to Earth in a SpaceX capsule with a soft splashdown off Florida's coast 9 months after their faulty Boeing Starliner craft upended what was to be a week-long stay on the International Space Station.
In a major setback for Pakistan's diminishing control over Balochistan, the Baloch Liberation Army's Majid Brigade executed a deadly suicide attack in Noshki. The assault, aimed at a Pakistan army convoy, highlighted the weaknesses within Pakistan's security forces and underscored the increasing power of the Baloch insurgency. A report.
A massive explosion ripped through the RCD highway in Balochistan's Noshki as a suicide bomber detonated a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device on a Pakistan army convoy. The Baloch Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the attack in the resistive province of Balochistan, further intensifying the long-running insurgency against Pakistan's occupation. According to Pakistan military, at least 5 security personnel were killed and 30 others were injured in the blast. However, the BLA has claimed a much higher toll, stating that at least 90 Pakistani soldiers were eliminated in the operation. The attack comes less than a week after a deadly train hijacking incident in Balochistan, in which the BLA targeted the Jafar Express carrying nearly 400 passengers. The insurgent group claimed to have eliminated over 200 Pakistani security personnel in the attack, further signaling its expanding operation capabilities.
There have been a number of deaths. One can't vouch for the number, but there are two things which are very clear from what is happening. Number one, attacks by Balochistan Liberation Army against the Pakistani army are increasing. This is the second one attack in quick succession after they took hostage the train last week with a large number of people, and the reports about that are still in dispute on the exact number of hostages taken, number of deaths, etc., etc. So the number of such incidents are increasing, clearly indicating that Balochistan Liberation Army is kind of intensifying their attacks against the Pakistani army, and it may increase further in the times to come.
The recent attacks are just the latest in the long-running insurgency that has persisted since Pakistan forcibly annexed the independent state of Kalat in 1948. For decades, Islamabad has treated Balochistan as a colony, exploiting its vast natural resources while keeping its people underdeveloped and deprived. Successive Pakistani governments, backed by the powerful military and intelligence agencies, have relied on brute force, extrajudicial killing, enforced disappearances, and military crackdowns to suppress Baloch aspiration. Baloch leaders such as Nawab Akbar Bukti has been assassinated, and thousands of activists continue to be abducted and silenced under fabricated charges of terrorism.
जितना ज़्यादा पाकिस्तान की आर्मी सख्त कदम उठाएगी, जितनी ज़्यादा वो लोगों को उठाकर प्रिजन में डालेगी, जेल में डालेगी, उन्हें आतंकी डिक्लेयर करेगी, उतना ज़्यादा वहाँ की अवाम में पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ और पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के खिलाफ गुस्सा पैदा होगा, रोष पैदा होगा, और उतने ही ज़्यादा बलूचिस्तान के लोग अपनी इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए लड़ेंगे.
Despite being rich in natural resources like gas, coal and minerals, Balochistan remains the most impoverished region in Pakistan. Over 70% of the population lives below the poverty line with little access to basic facilities such as healthcare and education. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which Islamabad touts as a development game changer, has only exacerbated tensions in the province. Baloch activists accuse the Pakistani state of plundering their land and resources while leaving locals jobless and marginalized. The much-hyped Gwadar port, once envisioned as a strategic economic hub, has turned into a colossal failure. Job opportunities under CPEC have mostly gone to Punjabis, further fueling Baloch resentment and reinforcing their belief that the province is being treated as an internal colony of Islamabad's elite.
Pakistan has depended so far to a great extent on China for the economic welfare, economic support, and for strategic stability. If China finds that their stay in Pakistan becomes untenable, because of increasing such attacks, Pakistan is going to become even more isolated. We have seen that the support to Pakistan from even the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia or Oman or Qatar, etc., are coming down, are diminishing. So Pakistan is going to become even more isolated.
Years of unfulfilled promises, oppression, and military brutality have left Baloch groups with little faith in Pakistan's ability or willingness to grant them their due rights. With each passing day, the insurgency gains further momentum as the Baloch people refuse to bow down to Islamabad's tyranny. For the Baloch, this is no longer just a political struggle. It is a fight for survival, dignity, and self-determination.
The St. Anthony's Festival on Kachathivu Island, celebrated annually by Christian devotees from both India and Sri Lanka, underscores the strong spiritual and cultural bond between the two nations. Hundreds gathered this year, offering prayers and participating in vibrant celebrations. The key highlight was the solemn procession where hymns and prayers filled the air and Indian Navy officers joined the faithful. Take a look.
Christian devotees from India and Sri Lanka gathered in large numbers on Kachathivu Island on March 15 to offer prayers and participate in the vibrant celebration of the St. Anthony's Church Festival. The island, which was ceded by India to Sri Lanka in the 1970s, has become a significant religious site for both nations, with the Catholic Church there dedicated to Saint Anthony, the patron saint of seafarers. Thousands of devotees made the journey to Kachathivu, underscoring the strong religious and cultural ties between the two countries. The festival, which has become an annual tradition, featured a solemn holy mass, during which devotees were seen reverently reciting prayers and participating in rituals to seek the blessings of Saint Anthony.
People also from all over Sri Lanka and India come here to honor Saint Anthony, and he is a very good saint, and he was deeply fallen for Jesus. So he followed the footsteps of Jesus and he proclaimed God's word wherever he went.
A central feature of the festival was a procession that wound its way through the church grounds, with priests leading the way and guiding the faithful. The procession was accompanied by hymns and prayers, creating an atmosphere of reverence and unity among the participants. Notably, Indian Navy officers were also seen taking part in the procession, reflecting the deep connection between the religious event and the maritime community.
Our first time to came to Kachathivu. This is very beautiful journey. We didn't expect this would be this beautiful. Every people are nice. Every religious people we can see here. At first, I thought it would be difficult, but after came here, it was very adventurous. I like it, and I will try to come next year also.
The presence of both Indian and Sri Lankan devotees, along with the Indian Navy's involvement, demonstrated the strong cross-border ties and the shared spiritual heritage that transcends national boundaries. The event was not only a religious observance, but also a symbol of unity, peace, and the enduring bonds between the people of India and Sri Lanka, with Saint Anthony's Festival serving as a reminder of the common spiritual and cultural ties that continue to bring them together.
A powerful display of faith, St. Anthony's Festival continues to unite two nations. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.